You're listening to Sip and Grow the podcast, the show where we taste awesome, delicious wines while having unfiltered conversations about our passions, experiences, struggles, entrepreneurship, and life. My name is Nicole Di Pasquale, and I'm a wine enthusiast just trying to pursue her passions and dreams while taking you on the journey with me, one episode at a time. My ultimate goal is to not only bring you wine knowledge and value, but also inspire you to enjoy your process and journey in pursuing your passions and dreams. Because guess what? The person you become while enduring the process is more important. So sit back, grab a glass, and let's sip and grow together. Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode of Sip and Grow the podcast with me, your host, Nicole Di Pasquale. So I came across this champagne sparkling wine the other day, and I just recently did an episode on the traditional method of making champagne or sparkling wine, and I came across this Brut Nature. So if you haven't seen that episode, it's episode 60. Basically, I went over the 7 different types of sweetness of champagne, and one of them, and they're classified basically on how sweet the champagne is. So you'll see like Brut or demi-sec. This one is specifically a Brut Nature, which is the one that has the least amount of sugar. It's the least sweetest one out of all the 7 classifications, basically. And it just means that there is less than 3 grams of sugar per liter in this bottle. So this is a 2017 vintage from Rutini. Rutini is a producer from Argentina. So this one specifically is from Tupungato, Uco Valley within Mendoza. And Uco Valley is actually one of the top wine producing regions in Mendoza. And funny enough, so Rutini is like a very well-known producer over there, and they're competitors with like Zucardi, Catena, Susana Balbo. Like there's a lot of big name people in Argentina. If you know a lot about Argentinian wines, this is one of the big dogs. And one of my personal favorite wines is actually from them. It's a blend of a Cabernet and a Malbec, which it's phenomenal, and it's at a good price point if you ever want to take like a wine that everyone will like at a dinner party. I always recommend that one. I actually drank that wine with my friend Carlos on the episode that we did together. But I'm digressing here. Let's go back to this guy. So I came across this in a bakery, like an Argentinian bakery cafe situation in Tamarack, Florida, called Milanos. And this specific wine is, so Rutini, the brand, they have different lines of wine. And this one's from the line called Encuentro. And they do use the traditional method of champagne. So if you want to go ahead and check out details on how that whole process works, it's in episode 60. But basically the second fermentation happens in the bottle, and then there's just a couple of other different details involved in the process that I talk about in that episode. But I am curious to try this because it is 100% Pinot Noir based, and I don't think I've ever had a Brut Nature, or if I did, I didn't really realize or wasn't very aware of it. But fun fact about Rutini is they're actually the first family who planted vines in the Uco Valley in Mendoza. So I thought that was cool. And their winemaker has been there since 1993. So he's been doing that for a while. His name is Mariano, I believe. Yeah, Mariano Di Paola is his full name. But this, let me go ahead and start opening this up. This is probably like I said, it's one of the big dogs in Argentina. They have 400 hectares of land, which is a shit ton of land. It's like almost 1,000 acres, more or less, because usually it's like from hectares to acres, it's like double. So it's probably 900 and something. I have to do the math. But I saw it and I saw that it was like it's a midpoint price. It's $26.99. Ooh. And when I started doing research on it, I got a deal because I saw that it was actually more expensive at other wine shops and online. You know, all the prices I was finding was actually in the $30 range. So if you want to try this, definitely go to Milano's. And if you're in Florida, of course, if you go to Milano's in Tamarack, they sell it for $26.99. Am I doing this right? No, I was going the opposite way. Okay, here we go. So it's so funny. The other day, I was at yoga, as I always am, and I always get inspired by Taz. Shout out to Taz, you're an amazing instructor. But I was like, he said something in class the other day, and recently, there's been certain things that I've been like looking into or wanting to be a part of, that required like applying for it. It's just to like further my education and knowledge in certain things. And like sometimes, you know, you're not always gonna get the response you want, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing. And sorry, I want to take out this entire paper, and seems like I'm gonna take out the entire thing. So we're gonna go with it. Don't mind me. Don't look at this. But it got me thinking about the whole concept of like rejection is redirection. And I love my friends because I think my friends and my family, especially, they're both like, I have such a good support system from my family and my friends. And I really got to think about the subject of like rejection is redirection. And it's so funny because there it is, in my yoga class, Taz, he was doing like this move, or certain moves that we did were to relieve pressure from our lower back, because you know, the older you get, you don't realize how much pressure you put on your lower back. And like one of the things that he did was, in yoga, there's these blocks. They're kind of like foam blocks, and they help you with certain poses or positions. But they're very useful for a lot of different things. Not only to help you with certain poses or positions, but like to help relieve pressure in certain positions that you put yourself in, whatever. So he basically had us put the block under our lower back, and then he always like enlightens us while we're doing all these poses and movements. And he was just saying like to put it under, like we basically had to sit or put it under our lower back, and it kind of like our butt was up off the floor, and we were like in a bridge position basically with our backs on the floor. And he was talking about how this relieves pressure from your lower back, and like it's a little bit uncomfortable. And he's like, we basically were in that position for like 6 minutes, more or less 5-6 minutes. And he was talking about support system, right? And like how important it is to have a support system. And a lot of times we don't realize how important a support system is until we have one, and you realize like how far you got, or like how much further you got because you had a support system, right? And I think support systems are crucial for anything and everything that you do. And the whole concept of that was like, when we took off, he's like, when he had us take out the block under our back, and he goes, how do you feel now that like, you know, you had a support system? You feel more connected and grounded to the floor. And he was like, support systems are there to like help us get to where we want to go to, so that when we get to that point, we feel more prepared and ready and more grounded in ourselves and like our vision or our mission to, you know, be in that spot when we get to that spot. So like the whole concept of taking the block out from under our lower back, he was like, your lower, like now just laying on the floor in a bridge position, your back feels more connected to the ground. And like the whole concept of him saying like, that's what support systems are there for, because like essentially it helps relieve certain pressures that we like put on ourselves to get to another level, and it helps us approach the situation or the the next level that we're getting into more prepared and calmer than if we didn't have that support system. So I thought it was like a really important message, and I wanted to share that with you guys on today's episode, because I thought, like, I don't know, I was just like, oh my god, Taz strikes again with the freaking enlightenment during our yoga session while I'm low-key dying but then feel great after. But definitely, from now on, moving forward, I'm going to try to do that lower back thing with the block probably like 2 to 3 times a week, because it really was a game changer, and I felt like I had a brand new body after that class. But anyways, let's go ahead and try this Pinot Noir champagne sparkling wine from Argentina. So I poured it, and as you can see, the color is kind of like a orange, almost rosy color, which I love Pinot Noir based champagnes. This is going to be the second one I've ever tried. First time I tried the Brut Nature type of sparkling wine, but I'm excited for it. Let's go ahead and smell it. Ooh, it kind of smells like, it's very floral-y, like huge on the floral notes, and like I would say it's like huge on the white floral notes. So let's go, and even, what fruit is that? Because it also smells like really juicy. So like I almost smell like it's like a peach. Let's go ahead and try it. So it's not very effervescent, aka like not very bubbly. It's kind of almost like it's even lighter than a Lambrusco. So like a Lambrusco tends to have like that fizziness to it. I don't like that it's not that bubbly. Maybe if I, like, the bubbles are there when I pour it, but it's very light. It's like it's fizzy. It's not as effervescent as other champagnes. It's not on the sweet side. It's very much like huge on, like I said, the floral perfumey notes. And then there's like a hint of peach in there, but it's not as sweet as a peach, if that makes sense. So it's more like an apricot, I would say. I would say it's more like an apricot, like a dried, you know what it is? It's dried, like dried stone fruits, basically. Cause like I almost taste like if I'm eating like a dried apricot gummy type of situation. But it's not bad if you enjoy champagne or sparkling wine that's not super sweet and not very bubbly, like it's more on the fizzier side of things. I think this is a good pick overall for being what it is. I think it's solid for being a Brut Nature sparkling wine. I kind of love the color. I don't mind that it's like fizzy. I just think like if I'm going for more of a let's pop some bubbly type of situation, I probably wouldn't pick this. But like if I want to have something on the fizzy side and to just like kind of chill, I probably would buy this bottle again. My rating for this would probably be, out of 10, we're gonna say it's an 8.2 out of 10. I would have to try more Brut Natures to see if I like it or not, but like I said, this is a 2017 vintage Pinot Noir based, $26.99 at Milano's in Tamarack, Florida. And I enjoyed it. I don't think it was a bad choice, but let me know if you get to try it and if you like it. I'll try to find a link where you can buy it online. It might be more expensive online to purchase. If not, like I said, Milano's. But anyways, I hope you've enjoyed today's episode. Remember, Rejection is redirection. And I will definitely finish this with the family inside. So cheers to another episode, and I will see you guys on the next one.